We've got Green Party candidate Kara Flannigan in the studio here. We're just going to ask a few questions. Let's get right into it. So, Kara, what made you want to run in this by-election?
We need to take serious action on climate change, and none of the other parties seem to be pushing that agenda, pushing that issue forward, and it's so important to the health of the people in Ontario. So having run in previous provincial and federal election, I felt a responsibility and a duty to Green Party supporters in our community, as well as people who aren't familiar with our platform, to share the message and raise awareness about the issue.
So as somebody who's looking to become MPP, what do you think is the one quality above all else that person is going to need?
Well, certainly the results of the election aren't going to change the balance of power. So going down to a Queen's Park and identifying groups and issues and bringing people together and bringing new ideas and new ways of looking at things, I think will go a long way to advancing the quality of life for Ontario.
So, I mean, that's a good point. You say it's not going to change the balance of power. So, so the Liberal candidate would say, we've got one chance. We've got the chance here, I guess, to knowingly vote for the person who is going to be a member of the party in power. Why would we not do that right now?
Well, we don't know what's going to happen. From this point, they're going to break for summer, so there's a big chunk of time lost. And going forward, they know there's an election next June, so they'll be in full election mode as well. So I don't know that you can knowingly say that they're going to be showering us with any financial benefits for our community at all, given the distraction of the upcoming election. And on the other hand, another way of looking at that is if people are favored because of their member of parliament, what does that say about all the other ridings that aren't represented by that government?
Well, I guess that's what I was going to say is, I mean, do you agree with that notion that the party in power, or if your MP is a member of the party in power, that's a good thing, or that benefits you directly?
I would have to say not necessarily. Most people are fair, and a single voice can make a big difference. And if you look at what the Green Party has done in getting big money out of provincial politics, our leader Mike Schreiner pushed that. And if you look at Elizabeth May and what her single voice has done to change the politics of Parliament, bringing civility and even launching the nationwide Lyme disease program, a single differing voice can make a difference in our politics.
So what do you think is the defining issue of this election? I mean, we've got many to choose from.
We have many to choose from. I just want to talk a little bit about the Green Party. Everyone thinks that we're just a one-issue party. Because we have green signs and our name is green, they automatically think that we're just pushing environment and climate change. Well, the core value of the Green Party really is putting people first. What do we need to do to keep people healthy, happy, and productive? And if you look at every issue through that lens, how do we keep people healthy, happy, and productive? What does the evidence tell us on any issue? So, for example, we are human animals. We're animals. We rely on clean air and clean water. And with the climate change and the scientists showing how catastrophic that can be for our quality of life, for our infrastructure, for our food security, we must protect ourselves. So it makes sense that people would think that and the environment and climate change is our issue, but it's the biggest threat to human survival. So the Green Party putting people first and making sure that people are healthy, happy, and productive, that is a big issue. So we need to move and make choices that are going to protect climate and create jobs. And there are a lot of ways of doing that without a whole lot of fuss. Like, just for example, if you look at reestablishing the green home energy retrofits for homes and businesses. Well, looking at it from the point of view, what keeps people healthy, happy, and productive, it creates jobs in our community that can't be outsourced, supports contractors, skilled laborers, and our retailers. It also lowers our energy costs, so that puts money in people's pocket, and it also lowers our carbon footprint, addressing climate change responsibility, and it also makes our homes more comfortable and increases our property value. So that one program, and it doesn't need to be reinvented because we've done it before, but they collapsed the program, and so we can reestablish that.
Okay, last question. You're elected MPP, your first 100 days, what one thing would you hope to accomplish?
I would hope to convince the decision makers that we need to address, for example, two things. For our community, we want to make sure that there's legislative protection for municipalities and all levels of government, that we cannot be crippled by corporations not paying their property taxes, as is the case here. That sets a dangerous precedent, and I would hope that all municipalities and levels of government are paying attention to this and how significant this is. And support Sault Ste. Marie through this court process. The other thing is I would like to bring to their attention how important it is that we can address hydro costs in a reasonable manner. For example, we've long said, why not get cheap hydropower from Quebec? That's an easy fix. The other thing is that as the alternative energy capital of North America, we create tons of electricity, too much, and we sell it below cost to across the river. And we currently have a very exciting project where the PUC is working with a private company, and they're setting up a lithium-ion battery, a 7 megawatt or megawatt battery, so that that power that we were selling below cost across the river, we redirect it into a battery and load it back into our grid when our power costs are higher. So that helps our costs.
So which one though, hydro or taxes? Corporate taxes in terms, and I assume you're speaking about the SR Steel Algoma situation.
Our largest industry here, yeah. I think for our community, I would have to go with the taxes. We can't be crippled going forward, and we need some action on that immediately. It affects so many other businesses in our community. It affects the pensioners. It has a huge impact here.
How would you do that, I guess, through?
Well, I work with legislation in the nature of my work. So we would have to have the lawyers, or I'm sure we have lots of lawyers, take a look at the legislation and what do we need to modify, correct, or adjust to make this less likely to happen in the future going forward. Because communities and municipalities and governments need to be protected from this type of activity because it's so disruptive and destabilizing.